Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. I would now like to call up Sierra Devos to present the Salutatorian's address.
Getting this out of the way right away. Hello. I'd just like to say a quick thank you to everyone who helped us get to where we are today. To our parents, our teachers, our families, our friends, everyone who has ever given us advice or guidance. I'd just like to let you know that all of your wisdom, your nudging in the right direction, your selfless help is truly appreciated. We would not be where we are today without each and every one of you. And here we are, graduating from high school, legal or soon-to-be legal adults. Most of us have licenses. Most of us have a job. And still, the most shocking for me, most of us can sign our own permission slips. Let's just take a moment to let that one sink in. Wowza. But despite the fact that so many of us are driving ourselves home, making money, and even signing our own permission slips, I don't feel like a graduating senior or an adult, but I also don't feel quite like a student anymore. It's a weird in-between that we're at. We're out of school, beginning to fend for ourselves, though at the same time, many of us still have our parents doing our laundry and know very little of adult things like loans or taxes. We feel ready and excited to take on the world, but barely know what we're rushing into. Somehow we ended up at this strange in-between, but I feel surprisingly comfortable here. To better understand how we got here, I'd like to quote one of the greatest philosophers of our era, Mr. D.J. Casper, in his renowned piece, The Cha-Cha Slide, and take it back now, y'all. Let's follow the wisdom of this great artist and take some time for retrospective. I remember when I first heard of Nature's Classroom sometime in 5th or 6th grade. It scared me, to be completely honest. The idea of an overnight field trip to the mountains was definitely appealing to me, but I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to be away from my parents that long. I mean, I was still scared of sleepovers at that point. I did not look forward to having to make the choice between staying behind in the comfort of my home with my parents' room the next door over, or leaving that safety behind for the certainty of homesick and only the possibility of an amazing trip. However, despite my apprehension and indecision in 5th grade, when 7th grade rolled around, it wasn't even a question for me. Of course I went, and we had an incredible time. We definitely missed our parents and were homesick at points, but it was worth it. The next year, in 8th grade, our teachers warned us of the hardships of high school, the painfully long tests, the lengthy essays, and the hours of studying. But we got through high school. Yes, it was hard, but we were ready. We learn and grow in tandem with the challenges life throws at us. Now, as we look forward towards the next chapter of our life, and similar to back in 7th grade, I don't feel the nerves I thought I would. I mean, sure, I'm nervous, especially up here. Our lives will never be the same again. But we're also ready now. We're ready to leave our homes behind, to write college-level essays, to take out loans, to be successful in a job, to craft a life for ourselves. It'll hurt, and there'll be tears, but it'll be worth it when we see the fruits of our labors. A diploma, a promotion, a shiny new car, a house to call our own. To again quote Mr. DJ Casper, we're going to go down low, all the way to the floor. But we're also gonna bring it to the top, like we never stop. We're ready for the failures and learning for the successes. Let's dive into the next chapter of our lives with no hesitation. Let's get out into the world, embrace it with open arms. Let's go to work. Thank you.
Thank you, Sierra. I'd like to invite Michaela Barbagallo to come up for the Pledge of Allegiance. That'll be followed by the national anthem, so please remain standing, and it'll be Grace Doyle singing the national anthem.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
At this time, I'd like to invite Helen Girondo, the President of Student Government, up for her remarks.
Welcome, family, friends, teachers, and peers to the class of 2016's commencement. To be honest, it's a bit daunting talking in front of a crowd this big, even though, as most of you know, I do love to talk. I'm somehow supposed to have some words of wisdom for my class, to have you all leave inspired for the future. I apologize in advance. That probably won't happen. Instead of the future, I'd like for a moment to have a look at the past. Today is June 11th, 2016. It is a notable date for all of us, but for my family, this day has a special significance. If he were alive, today would have been my grandfather's 96th birthday. He died many years before I was born, so I never got to meet him, but I have heard many stories about him. He and his wife, Helen, who I'm named for, grew up in Manhattan in the midst of the Great Depression. When they were our age, they weren't choosing which college to attend or deciding what career would make them happy. Rather, they worked long hours after school to help their parents put food on the table for the younger siblings. After he graduated from high school, my grandfather continued to work, and each night after work, he stayed up late studying for the New York City Fire Department test. He eventually made the squad, but his joy was fleeting, as the next year he was shipped off to Europe to fight in World War II. Although my grandpa didn't know it at the time, one of the citizens he had helped to liberate was my other grandfather, Pierre, who at the time was a young boy living in Paris. Pierre would soon find his way to Watertown, where he would begin his life in the United States and begin to learn English for the first time, at our age, 18 years old. Fast forward many years and life is much different. In comparison to my grandfather's, my life has been charmed. I've had endless opportunities. As I've been reminded by their stories, our family has been able to achieve some measure of the American dream, but it has taken many years and countless sacrifices. Each of us have similar stories, I'm sure, of older family members who have made this day, our day, possible. As we start this next phase of our lives, we should all remember how lucky we have been. And as we begin to work towards our own versions of that dream, it is important to remember that each of us are at different points on the path to success. Whether we are continuing our education at college, entering the workforce, or joining the armed forces, just know that there is no one way to succeed in life. As I said before, I haven't lived long enough yet to be able to offer any profound words to the class of 2016. But I do think my one job here today as your student body president is to start our celebration. So, thank you, all of you, whose sacrifices and hard work are finally paying off. Now, it's up to us to make the most of what we have been given and do what we can for those who come after us. Our success as a generation may only be known a few decades from now, when the next generation draws inspiration from our accomplishments. Some of us, I'm sure, will be proud parents and grandparents someday, maybe even sitting where you guys are right now. While June 11th, 2016 may mean different things to each of us, we all can say we are proud of where we came from. Whether we begin in Maynard or elsewhere, whether we travel far and wide after graduation or stay closer to home, our time spent here with each other will be central to all of our stories. Thank you.
I'd like to invite Jack O'Mani, president of the class of 2016, to speak, and he will be followed by the 2016 class officers. Jack.
Good afternoon, teachers, family, and fellow graduates. Thank you for joining Maynard's class of 2016 this evening to celebrate our commencement. I am so proud to be a member of this talented graduating class. I can't believe how fast these years have gone by. I'm so grateful to have shared these years with you, some of you since we were in preschool. No matter the time spent together, we spent it well. Our class can boast many people and experiences that make us unique. Of them was our time in the old MHS. We are the last class that experienced that shabby old building. The legacy of the old MHS will live in our memories. Our memories of the hallways bombarded with trash cans collecting the ceiling leaks, and the unlocked art room door that was a quick escape from class. Not that I ever cut class. In both the old and new MHS, we maintained our streak of never losing Spirit Week. From lumberjacks to minions to Captain America, we never failed to dress up and show our class pride. We showed this same pride through March Madness and Academic Spirit Week. These experiences would not have been as fun or successful without our unique classmates and members. Like Franny never failing to make an amazing cake, or Max never failing to impress the entire crowd with his pie-eating abilities. As a class, we can also uniquely say we have made Taylor Swift proud with our junior year lip sync. In all seriousness, though, we do have many members in our class who can sing. Many of you were lucky enough to hear Sam Jones sing the national anthem at the Senior Awards banquet. And through these past years, you've probably been graced by other musicians in our class, like Jay on the guitar, or Justin on the drums, or Emily on the flute. I also hear Thomas Brennan is pretty good on the triangle. These talented musicians will be sorely missed, as well as many other talented actors and actresses. If you saw Maynard's production of Grease, you were lucky enough to see the talented Liza Caldicott as Sandy, or Grace Doyle as an amazing cafeteria lady. She would have made Maria proud. The class of 2016 is filled not only with gifted artists, but athletes as well. We have Jake the Armadillo and Ronan the Barbarian, who killed it on the wrestling mats. Psycho T, Fuzzy, and Early on the basketball court, who almost led us to winning a state championship. It also turns out we're pretty talented in the academics as well. The countless hours of studying Matt and Sierra put into their classes paid off in all the awards they received at Thursday night's banquet. Juan Duran has made his name in a community service and a class that cares deeply about volunteering. We are also an environmentally conscious class, thanks to Vanessa, who helps us go green. Reflecting on our class's unique members and qualities, I'm going to miss the times we've shared. This week of senior activities has really made me appreciate our class and the ways we have bonded. Despite being a part of different social groups, we really came together and had fun reminiscing old times and celebrating our accomplishments. We really bonded on all of our trips. From the fun night at Fenway Park, to our Six Flags trip, to the harbor cruise, we can thank our incredible advisors, Miss Muse and Miss McLean, for this unforgettable week of memories, but also for supporting us and helping us fulfill our wildest dreams. As this chapter in our lives comes to a close, a world full of opportunities awaits each and every one of us. So whether you're taking a gap year to travel the country, doing AmeriCorps City Year in Boston, or following your family's tradition of going to the University of Michigan, enjoy yourself. Have fun. Apply your unique gifts to the opportunities that await you. As time passes and we get further from our years in high school, I ask you to remember these formative years, the teachers, peers, lessons, and experiences that shaped you. As you are presented with decisions and job opportunities, I hope you do what brings you joy and what positively impacts this world we live in. Reflect on your unique talents and consider how you can use those to make the world a better place for all of us living in it. So today, I will leave you with the words of the greatest writer of our time, Maya Angelou. Your hours of applications, the hopes of your parents, and the labor of your instructors have all brought this moment into your hands. Look beyond your tasseled caps and you will see injustice. At the end of your fingertips, you'll find cruelties, irrational hate, bedrock sorrow, and terrifying loneliness. There is your work. Make a difference. Use this degree which you have earned to increase virtue in your world. Your people, all people, are hoping that you are the ones to do so. The order is large, the need immense, but you can take heart, for you know that you have already shown courage. And keep in mind, one person with good purpose can constitute the majority. Since life is our most precious gift, and since it is given us but once to live, let us so live that we will not regret years of uselessness and inertia. You'll be surprised that in time, the days of single-minded research and the nights of crippling cramming will be forgotten. You'll be surprised that these years of sleepless nights and months of uneasy days will be rolled into an altering event called the good old days. And you'll not be able to visit them, even with an invitation. Since that is so, you must face your presence. You are prepared. Go out and transform your world. Welcome to your graduation. Congratulations, class of 2016.
Good afternoon. As the officers for the class of 2016, we would like to share with you some of our favorite memories from the past 4 years. From shy freshmen to mighty seniors, we sure have evolved during our time at Maynard High School, ultimately becoming the accomplished individuals that you see behind me. We have laughed, cheered, danced, and lip-synced our way through our years, and now it's time to look back upon everything we have learned and experienced that has led us here.
As freshmen, we were new and intimidated by things like Spirit Week, pep rallies, and of course, the idea of slipping down the stairs in front of everyone in the old school. Although we were hesitant to strut our stuff and instead walk through the halls with great care, we eventually found our place. In Mrs. Staggerwald's English class, we showed our more artistic sides with theatrical recitations from Romeo and Juliet, and became engineers with the egg drop assignment in Mr. Grandin's physics class. To say the least, we were just getting started.
With sophomore year came new challenges, but we were ready for round 2 at MHS. We came together for Spirit Week and March Madness, proving that we were the most spirited as lumberjacks and as superheroes. But these school-wide activities weren't the only things bringing us together. With liberty to choose our own classes, each of us was beginning to find our niche. Our changing schedules meant seeing new people every day, and even in a small school like ours. This was pretty cool. As the junior year approached, we were ready to tackle it together.
As juniors, we were finally upperclassmen getting to experience the real fun of high school. Though prom was a blast, however, we shared common stress over AP exams and SATs. Nonetheless, it was a year filled with excitement, as many of us were also becoming licensed drivers and finally getting to claim a space in the student parking lot. As our third year winded down, we experienced the bittersweet realization that when we returned in the fall, it would be for the last time.
Senior year meant painting the press box, pranking the students and faculty, and pretending to be sick for just one day in May. With our newfound sense of authority, we ruled the school, as Rizzo says in the Maynard High School production of Grease that took place this past spring. We were doing all the things that marked our last year at Maynard High School. And whether it was posing for senior pictures or recounting memories for the yearbook, I think we were all in disbelief that we had somehow gotten this old. Now, as I stand before you sharing each of these memories, I simply want to thank each of the people sitting behind me for allowing me to experience these past 4 years with them. I don't know about you, but I had so much fun. Thank you.
I'd like to ask Mrs. Blanchard and the chorus to please give their rendition of Already Home from Oz.
We're not singing Already Home. Instead, we are singing Africa by the band Toto.
Some time to do the things we never had.
That was way better than Already Home from Oz. And if you turn to page 2 of your program, everything is going to go exactly as printed at this point. I'd like to invite Matthew Schumacher to give his valedictory address.
On the first day of sophomore year, the class of 2016 started its first day in a new Maynard High School building. I remember sitting right here in this gymnasium when Principal Karajanis said to us, "What will be your legacy to MHS?" First off, I'm sure Mr. Karajanis was thrilled to know that I was paying attention. But as I reflect back, I do believe our class has left a positive impact on this school. Our grade has helped welcome over a dozen foreign exchange students into our community. We also played a role in reaching the $1 million mark for the Beacon Santa Telethon, during which Max showed us just how resilient the human stomach can be. And we all got to help play a role in earning platinum at Grade East with the band. The look on your face, Mrs. Blanchard, was priceless. They say who you hang out with affects who you are. Now, in second grade, Zach Sulzer, a lifelong friend of mine, was suspended for biting his peanut butter sandwich into the shape of a weapon. As you can see, it was just a downward spiral from there for me. The spree continued into ninth grade, where at the end of the year, our class decided to decorate the walls of old MHS days before the school closed. There were also the memorable teacher quotes through the years. Whenever I daydreamed in class, Mrs. Messenger said, "You have a flag on your head that says you've gone to Pluto." She also told us to take the fishbowls off our heads and look at the world around us. Then there was my sixth grade math teacher, Mr. Fleming, who nicknamed me Krabby after I wore a shirt with a crab on it to school. That nickname stuck around for a good 4 years. And then in high school, Mrs. Lerner summed up Jewish holidays as, "They tried to kill us, we prevailed, so let's eat." But no matter the grade, the teachers here at Maynard have always found a way to make class interesting, and I would like to give a big thank you for helping all of us become who we are today. When I began searching for a topic for my speech, I did not have to look far. Kindness is a character trait that I hold dear to me, and I believe it is something everyone should strive for. As I searched the internet for inspiration, I came across this story that I wanted to share with you all. In 1938, a young 28-year-old British man named Nicholas Winton canceled his vacation to Switzerland and headed to Prague to help a friend in need. Thousands of Jewish children were in danger of deportation to concentration camps, and there was asylum in Great Britain, but there were two problems. The children needed a willing host family to take them in, and £50 to pay for their passage back home after the war. While in Prague, Winton organized for these children to board trains bound for the Netherlands. Through his tireless effort, Winton managed to save the lives of 669 children, all in just under a year. It all came to an end, however, with the German invasion of Poland. In 1988, while going through their attic, Winton's wife found a scrapbook with the names of many Czech children Nicholas had saved. After much research without his knowledge, Winton was called to a showing of an episode of the TV show That's Life, dedicated in honor of his efforts. Unbeknownst to him, the audience was full of children who owed their lives to him. Towards the end of the show, the host asked, "Is there anyone in this audience who owes their life to Nicholas Winton? If so, could you please stand?" The entire audience rose to their feet. With tears in his eyes, Winton humbly stood up, looked around, and sat back down without another word. Not even Winton could fathom the effects of his actions so many years ago. Now, it is highly unlikely that we will all go on to perform the grand act of kindness on the scale of Winton's. If we did, we'd be the greatest graduating class in history. But the small acts of kindness, however, are just as important as the big ones. Simply holding a door open or saying hello to someone in passing can make a big difference. As Betty Reese puts it, if you think you are too small to be effective, you have never been in bed with a mosquito. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't mention pay it forward. Interestingly, Benjamin Franklin is thought to be the founder of the concept, the same guy who invented bifocals and co-founded the first hospital. Now, I'm sure you're familiar with pay it forward from the new trend at Starbucks, but it is applicable elsewhere. In order to get to the place we are today, it took the hard work of many teachers, friends, community members, and especially family. The best way we can repay them is to one day mentor others so that they can join us on the pathway to success. As we move forward in our lives, we will begin to branch off into different walks of life. As Ellen DeGeneres reminds us, follow your passion, stay true to yourself, and never follow someone else's path. Unless, of course, you're lost in the woods and you see a path, then by all means follow that. But no matter where you go, remember the power of kindness. Thank you, class of 2016, for 13 wonderful years. I'd also like to give a shout out to my fan section up there, which includes my cousins, aunts, uncle, who were always willing to lend a helping hand whenever I needed it. In addition, I'd like to thank my grandparents who have filmed and taken pictures at numerous events throughout my high school career. And for those of you who have had the pleasure of sitting next to my grandfather, I swear he's talking to the camera, not himself. I'd also like to thank my brothers Patrick and Jason for their invaluable advice over the years. They have certainly set the bar high. And last but not least, I'd like to thank my parents. Whether it be chaperoning field trips or helping me with homework, they have always been actively involved in my life. They're great role models for me and have provided endless love and support. I love you, and I wish you the best of luck as empty nesters next year. Thank you.
It is time to begin the presentation of scholarships. We have a handful of presenters here to give their particular scholarships to the recipients this evening. I would like to first welcome Karen McGilvery.
I'd like to start off by thanking the Friends of WAVM for all their efforts that go towards raising all of the scholarships given out by WAVM. I'm here to present the Karen Lee McGilvery scholarships. These scholarships are given in memory of my aunt Karen Lee, who was a dedicated member of WAVM and passed away her junior year here at Maynard High School. I'm honored to present these Karen Lee McGilvery scholarships to two dedicated and deserving seniors, Andrew Jakes and Johnny Gifford.
I would now like to welcome Tim Lawton.
Good afternoon. The first scholarship, I'm giving away two this year, one for Maynard Youth Football and one in memory of my parents. The first one I'll do is the one that's closest to me is my parents. The scholarship started after my father's death in 2008. My father worked here as a police officer for over 30 years. Was dedicated to the community he loved and the high school that he graduated from. After 2008, my mom came up with a plan that scholarship would be given to a senior that volunteered their time and focused on their education. Unfortunately, my mother passed away in 2011, and we continued to offer that scholarship the way she wanted. The Lawton family is very proud to present this scholarship to Matthew Early, Helen Durando, and Samantha Cutler. The second set of scholarships that I'll be giving away is probably just as close, I think, probably as much as I have many years dedicated to it. It's the Maynard Youth Football Scholarships. Maynard Youth Football started in 2007. Had a discussion, believe it or not, at a Tiger soccer field between myself and Brian Smith. We picked up a couple of great board members in Susan Peterson and Yvonne Cormier, and we were able to, 10 years later, still be in existence. This could not have been done without a lot of hard work of coaches that are still in the stands today, and also some that are still helping us today, even though their kids are not involved. These 7 players started with us as junior peewees. They left programs that they had belonged to for 2 to 3 years before our existence, and we got the chance of watching them all the way to their senior year in high school, making our Friday nights exciting. Some of these athletes will be moving on to play football, basketball, or wrestling in college, and we couldn't be even more prouder to present the following scholarships. To Tommy Ostakonis, Zach Yugovich, Cal Howes, sorry, Matt, I should have done this again. Matthew Early, Stephen Peterson, Jake Kennedy, and last but definitely not least, Jared Cormier.
I would now like to invite Ms. Jackie Rogers.
I'm always very pleased to present the scholarship as it was established by my parents. This year, the Irving Davis Family Scholarship is awarded to John Gier Lorenzo.
I would now like to welcome Officer Chris Sweeney.
Afternoon. I'm here to present 2 scholarships on behalf of the Maynard Police Relief Association. The association's been doing this for many years, well longer than I've been on the department. And I just had the privilege this year presenting them to Brittany O'Neill. And Shannon Dawson.
I would now like to welcome Paige Landry.
Congratulations, class of 2016. I'm with the Melissa Saunier Scholarship. This scholarship was founded 20 years ago this year. My cousin Melissa was a loving, outgoing teenager who loved music. She played the trumpet beautifully. Tragically, she passed away shortly after she had graduated from MHS. And her wish was to try and assist with tuition to help young adults whom are going into a music or art major. Music has been a huge part of this student's life, whom shall be awarded this year's scholarship. He has played his guitar multiple times in concerts at MHS. He has also taken part in some volunteering at Autism Speaks Light It Up Blue, Inc. This year's student truly deserves all the success that will come to him, and I really hope the best for him. This year's student who shall be awarded the Melissa Saunier Scholarship is Jay Mannion.
I would now like to welcome Corey Sullivan.
I would first like to say congratulations to the class of 2016. The Leo J. Hayes Memorial Scholarship was set up to honor a man who had great pride in the fact that he was from Maynard. He was a person who was always willing to help out others and was the first to offer a helping hand. Leo lost his life in a car accident in 2009, and we, his family, thought this scholarship would be a way to keep his giving heart, amazing smile, and zest for life alive. It is these qualities that we have all seen in this year's recipient. On behalf of the entire Hayes Sullivan family, it is my pleasure to present the Leo J. Hayes Memorial Scholarship to Jared Cormier.
I would now like to welcome Ms. Mary Pittman.
Congratulations to the class of 2016. I would like to present the Pittman Basketball Scholarship in loving memory of my son, Michael Gary Pittman, to Cal House.
I would now like to welcome Deb Heidick from the Maynard Business Alliance.
Greetings to the Maynard High School class of 2016, teachers, staff, parents, and friends. Congratulations to the class. The Maynard Business Alliance is a group of small business owners coming together to promote Maynard, our great little town. The MBA is awarding this scholarship to a student who is planning to pursue a career in business and who has demonstrated community service. The student we have chosen will be attending college this fall and will be majoring in finance and economics. I am now pleased to present a scholarship to Kevin Lorth.
I would now like to welcome Ms. Joanne Bolblack.
Good afternoon, everybody, graduates, family, friends. Today, I'm extremely pleased, especially this year, to award the Franklin J. Bolblack Scholarship Award to Jay Mannion. I gave it too soon. Frank was privileged to know Jay as a young child, and even then, he could see Jay's potential as a singer, songwriter, musician, as they listened and played music together. Frank was so impressed and delighted to know Jay as a young friend. Unfortunately, Frank passed away 10 years ago, but before that, he volunteered several years here at Maynard High School as well, and enjoyed being with the students so much. So I'm honored today to award the Franklin J. Boblak Scholarship to Jay on Frank's behalf. Success to you always, Jay. You deserve it. Thank you.
I would now like to welcome Barry McNulty.
Good afternoon. My name is Barry McNulty. As she said, I am the president of Friends of Tiger Football. Friends of Tiger Football is a private fundraising organization that raises money through support Maynard High School football program. This year, we are proud to be able to offer the following scholarships. We're able to do this through a golf tournament that we hold every August at Wedgwood Pines Country Club. These scholarships are possible because of the participation of community members and businesses that either play in or sponsor this event. On behalf of my fellow board members, I am pleased to recognize and congratulate the following students for earning a 2016 Friends of Tiger Football Scholarship. We have 6 of them. The first one is Tommy Ostacolinis. Jared Cormier. Matt Early. Cal Howes. Jake Kennedy. Going to Springfield? Yep. Nice boy. Steve Peterson. And last but not least, Zach Yugovich.
I would now like to welcome Paula Copley from Middlesex Savings Bank.
To put my glasses on. Good afternoon, graduates, faculty, and families. I am here today wearing 2 hats to present 2 scholarships to 2 graduates. The first scholarship is from the Middlesex Savings Bank Charitable Foundation. This recipient is a member of band, WAVM, the Green Committee, and a Relay for Life volunteer. She plans to study accounting at BU in the fall. I would like to congratulate Vanessa Dow with the Middlesex Savings Bank Charitable Scholarship. The next scholarship is from the Middlesex West Chamber of Commerce. This recipient is president of National Honor Society, participates in WAVM, Band, and Green Committee. She will be studying international relations at WPI in the fall. I would like to congratulate Emily Thayer with the Middlesex West Chamber of Commerce Scholarship.
I would now like to welcome Stephanie Gavin from the Maynard Music Association.
Congratulations to the class of 2016. On behalf of the Maynard Music Association, we'd like to thank all the students for their enthusiastic participation in band and chorus. It's amazing the amount of musical talent we have in this town. This year's scholarship applications were reviewed by a committee of non-high school parents. We are pleased to present our scholarships to 3 outstanding music students. The first recipient is Grace Wilson.
The 2 recipient
The second recipient is Matthew Schumacher. Our third scholarship is the William Brisson Music Scholarship. Mr. Brisson was an inspirational music teacher and band director at the Fowler School for 18 years. At his retirement last year, the Maynard Music Association voted to honor his leadership and dedication to our young musicians by awarding the scholarship to a senior, who has demonstrated dedication and passion for music. This year, the Maynard Music Association is pleased to award the second annual William Brisson Music Scholarship to Grace Doyle.
I would now like to welcome Brenda Sullivan.
Congratulations, class of 2016, and your families as well. First group that I am giving out is from the Maynard Booster Club. This year, due to a grant we received from Staples, we're able to increase the amount of the John Walsh Memorial Booster Club Scholarship awarded to Maynard High School graduating seniors who are in good academic standings, planning to continue their education as a full-time student, have been involved in a sport club or activity supported by the Booster Club, and been a member of a high school sport for at least 2 years. The recipients are involved in the school and the community and demonstrate leadership and initiative. Our first recipient of the John Walsh Memorial Scholarship is Thomas Geiger. Our second recipient is Shannon Smith. Because of financial support we received from Staples and the Booster Club activities, we were happy to be able to give 3 additional scholarships again this year, and they are for Cal House, Brittany O'Neill, and Ashley Marie Chasen. Change of hat. As president of the Maynard Emblem Club, it's my honor to be able to present the Maynard Emblem Club 205 past president Doris Coakley Scholarship to a young lady who has worked hard to find successes in her academics as well as in her school community. It's with great pleasure that I present this scholarship to Erica House.
I would now like to welcome Miss Jean LaBelle.
Congratulations, class of 2016. It's nice to see you again. We miss you here. I'm awarding a scholarship today in honor of the Herring family. The Herring family awards a scholarship to a student who excels in both science and soccer. While the family could not be here today, I'm pleased and honored to present them in awarding the scholarship to Philip Gubala.
Miss Jen Adams.
Congratulations to the class of 2016. The Maynard High School Foreign Language Department has been able to put together a scholarship, and this year we are awarding it to Alejandro Cubelli. The Maynard High School Athletic Hall of Fame Board also awards 2 scholarships to students who represent excellence in Maynard High School athletics. The first scholarship is being presented to Shannon Smith. The second Maynard High School Athletic Hall of Fame scholarship goes to Cal Howes. The Brenda Bowker Flaherty Scholarship is presented to a student who shares similar qualities and interests in music, reading, and academic excellence. And this year, the Brenda Bowker Flaherty Scholarship is presented to Haley Fritz.
Our final presenter of the evening is Mr. Steve Colagero.
Once again, congratulations to the class of 2016. Lawrence Veneria was a veteran teacher who spent just short of 30 years educating the children of Maynard in science. Larry's teaching style and dedication can be summed up in one simple phrase. A phrase he said to me the first week I showed up in his classroom as a student teacher, and a phrase he repeated constantly through the many years we taught together. The kids come first. The Lawrence Veneria Memorial Scholarship has been established to do honor to the memory of Larry and celebrate the dedication to our students. It is to be awarded to a student who excels at or demonstrates a passion for the sciences and who plans a career in the life sciences, Larry's area of passion. It is my honor to present this scholarship to a student who the science department unanimously agrees exemplifies these ideals. I had the privilege of being invited to sit in on this student's senior project presentation, and I have to say it is one of the most impressive things I have seen a student accomplish in my teaching career. The Larry Veneria Memorial Scholarship for 2016 is awarded to Shannon Smith.
Okay, are we ready? I think I speak for Miss Muse when I say that she and I feel that it's been an absolute pleasure and a privilege to work with this fine, upstanding group of young men and women who will go on to do incredible things in the world. We will really miss you. I also would like to ask you to try to hold your applause till the end so that we can get through the awarding of diplomas. And I also would like to admonish the seniors. We have this list, and Miss Buse and I are like pretty tired at this point, so we have to go by the list. So if by any chance you are out of order in any way, shape, or form, if your name is called, work with us, okay? Matthew Thomas Schomacher.
Wait.
Okay. Hang on. He's coming. Matthew would like to thank his parents, brothers Patrick and Jason, Grammy and Pepere, as well as Mrs. Durando and Mr. Hill. He will miss Beacon Santa Telethon, PTC, Disney, and climbing big roads and going bowling. Matthew is the recipient of the Fraser Forgey Scholarship, Maynard Music Association, and Orchid Technology Scholarships. He will be attending Northeastern University this fall.
Sierra Amelia DeVos. Sierra would like to thank her mom, dad, and sisters for everything, her dogs for being cute, Miss Lerner for all the advice, and Miss LaBelle for being an inspiration. She will miss mock trial, McDonald's sessions, writing club, arguing with Izzy over domestic policy, work in the chem and G Block Gov class. Sierra is the recipient of the Fraser and Forgey, Orchid Technologies, and Klamoa Glad scholarships. She will be attending Emerson College in the fall.
John Joseph O'Mani. Jack would like to thank Mr. Malika, Miss Muse, Officer Sweeney, his family, and most of all, his mother. He will miss soccer with the boys, weekends with the boys, Friday nights, TEDs, and most of all, Brett falling asleep in class. Jack is the recipient of the Halfway Cafe Community Service Scholarship and the MHS Community Service Award. He will be attending the University of Rhode Island this fall.
Liza O'Grady Caldecott. Liza would like to thank her parents for always supporting her, her friends for picking her up when she falls, and her teachers for helping her accomplish everything that has led her to this point. She will miss her family, friends, and afternoon review sessions with Miss LeBlanc and Mrs. Lerner. Liza is the recipient of the Fraser and Forgey and George Glad scholarships. She will be attending Ithaca College this fall.
Juan Jose Duran. Juan would like to thank Mr. Grandin, Miss Muse, Mr. Devine, friends, coaches, and his family. He will miss Mr. Gubala's soccer practices, Stu, and Sheppy and his flops. Juan is the recipient of the Guy Fowler Scholarship and Halfway Cafe Community Service Scholarship. He'll be attending Penn State in the fall.
Matthew John Early. Matthew would like to thank his parents, Katie and Thomas, Miss Muse, Mr. Diesel Devine. He will miss football, basketball, and the weekends with the boys. Matthew is the recipient of the Maynard Youth Football, Lawton Family Memorial, and Friends of Maynard Football Scholarships. He will be attending Bryant University in the fall.
Thomas John Oxtakalnis. Thomas would like to thank his parents, two sisters, Mr. Grandin, Miss LeBlanc, and Mr. Malika. He will miss AP Physics and football team dinners. Thomas is attending Mass Maritime Academy this fall.
Zachary Joseph Yugovich. Zach would like to thank his mom, dad, grandparents, Joey, Leah, football coaches, Mr. Grandin, Mr. Malika, Miss Muse. He will miss football games, the lip syncs with the boys, basketball fan section, the engineering squad, paternals class, the old school, tailgates, and his classmates. Zach is the recipient of the Guy Fowler, Maynard Youth Football, Friends of Maynard Football, Halfway Cafe Community Service, and the 5 Wood Scholarship in memory of Michael Lesage. He is attending Worcester Polytechnic Institute in the fall.
Helen Suzanne Girondo. Helen would like to thank her parents, Pierre and Lucian, Ms. Staggs, and all the janitors for being the sweetest people at MHS. She will miss Dunks, living across the street from Michaela, the girls, and seeing her mom every day in school. Helen is the recipient of the Maynard Education Association Scholarship and the Lawton Family Memorial Scholarship. She is attending the University of Michigan this fall.
Sierra Elizabeth Alvarez. She would like to thank her family and friends. She will be taking a year off before attending school in the following fall.
William Antonio Andrade. William would like to thank all the teachers, Mrs. McLean, his parents, family, and friends. He will miss all the jokes he had with his friends over the years. William is the recipient of the George B. Glad Scholarship. He is attending Middlesex Community College in the fall.
Kyle Andrew Backman. Kyle would like to thank all of his teachers who taught him what the real world is like, and his parents for putting up with him all of these years. He will miss affordable, delicious lunches, free periods, being exempt from finals, and most importantly, his friends. Kyle is the recipient of the Clamoa Glad and Halfway Cafe Community Service Scholarships. He is attending Arizona State University in the fall.
Ronan Ball. Ronan would like to thank his family for their constant support, friends for always making him laugh, Mr. Malika for preparing him for college. He will miss lunch conversations, gathering around the hearth, soccer Johnsies, and flappy golf names. Ronan is attending Worcester Polytechnic Institute in the fall.
Thomas Francis Brennan. Thomas would like to thank the lunch ladies, custodians, Tony, Miss Filtz, Miss Newey, and Mr. Manasian, the boys, and all of the people that I've become friends with while in high school. He will miss band, WVM, and hanging out with all of his friends after school, and most of all, the friends he has made over the years, and wishes them good luck in college. Thomas is the recipient of the Guy Fowler Scholarship. He's attending UMass Lowell in the fall.
Francis Maria Ning Chaffel. Francis would like to thank Coach John, Coach Jones, Miss Roussel, Mrs. Messina, Mr. Flynn, Mr. C, Tony, Maggie Jones, and her family. She will miss watching soccer games with the gang, softball season, and finding four-leaf clovers and ducks with her teammates, and that one trip to Kimball's with Emma Bendel that went horribly wrong. Francis is participating in the City Year program after graduation and then attending Ohio State University.
Ashley Marie Chasen. Ashley would like to thank all of her teachers and coaches for helping her get to where she is today, also her family for their endless support. She will miss all of her teams and freshman year at the real Maynard High School. Ashley is the recipient of the Guy Fowler, Halfway Cafe Community Service, and the John Walsh Memorial Booster Club Scholarships. She is attending the University of Maine in the fall.
Jared Landry Cormier. Jared would like to thank his teachers, Mr. Devine, Mrs. DeMars for getting him in shape, his mom, dad, and sister. Mom and Dad, I did it. He will miss football with the boys, the ice guys, the lip syncs, and freshman history with Mr. Caruso. Jared is the recipient of the Maynard Youth Football Scholarship, Friends of Maynard Football Scholarship, and the Leo J. Hayes Memorial Scholarship. He is attending Mass Maritime Academy in the fall.
Vanessa Christina Oliveira Costa. Vanessa would like to thank Mr. Devine, Miss Bradley, Mr. Malika, her mother, and family. She will miss the Brazilian squad. Vanessa is the recipient of the George B. Glad Scholarship. She will be attending Middlesex Community College in the fall.
Justin Douglas Cox. Justin would like to thank his family.
Alejandro Daniel Cubelli. Alejandro would like to thank his family and friends. He is the recipient of the MHS Foreign Language Department Scholarship. Alejandro will be attending Newberry College in the fall.
Samantha Lauren Cutler. Samantha would like to thank Mr. Devine for helping her through the college process, Mr. C and Ms. LaBelle for writing her letters of recommendation, and Mrs. G for helping her with essays. She will miss seeing the same people at school every day from Green Meadow to high school. Samantha is the recipient of the Arthur St. Germain and Lawton Family Memorial Scholarships. She is attending Stonehill College next fall.
Vanessa Sai Dow. Vanessa would like to thank her mom and dad, older sister, the Gale Pals, and the squad, Mrs. Lerner and Mrs. LeBlanc. She will miss seeing her friends every day, spontaneous food trips, late nights of playing werewolves, listening about memes, funny moments in band and chorus, AP chemistry, and all of the random hangs. Vanessa is the recipient of the Middlesex Savings Bank Foundation Scholarship and the Erin Bradley Excellence in Teaching Award for Suburban Achievers Scholarship. She will be attending Boston University in the fall.
Shannon Elizabeth Dawson. Shannon would like to thank her friends and family for the endless support throughout the years, as well as all the teachers at MHS, especially Mr. C and Mr. Paterno. Shannon is the recipient of the Maynard Police Department Scholarship.
Miranda Grace DeBruin. Miranda would like to thank her mom and dad for being her rock, her stepmom Laurie, and all of her siblings, her grandparents for their love and support. She will miss all the MHS traditions, being able to say only in Maynard, and the soccer team from last fall. Miranda is the recipient of the Ann Duclos, George Glad, and Guy Fowler scholarships. She will be attending the University of Maine in the fall.
Helen Dong. Helen would like to thank all the teachers and staff in the high school, classmates, and family. She will miss her friends and the woods behind the high school. Helen will be attending Quinnipiac University in the fall. Grace McGowan Doyle. Grace would like to thank the teachers who have always encouraged her, the fam for always supporting her, the tree, the gal pals, and all of my moms for helping me get through this year. She will miss the girls who have kept me laughing for years and the memes that have made high school more fun. Grace is the recipient of the Maynard Music Association Scholarship in honor of William Brisson. She is attending Ithaca College in the fall.
Karina Mitsether Dragseth. Karina would like to thank her host family, the Stevens, Coach Jones, Coach O'Neill, and all the friends she has made during this amazing year. She will miss her American friends, snow days, and playing soccer and football. She'll be returning to Norway after graduation. Edward Joseph Fitzsimmons. EJ would like to thank his parents, his family, Miss Lind, Mr. Grandin, Mr. Malika, Mrs. Lerner, Bartek, and Tatouche. He will miss the soccer seniors, bonfires, cutting at 3, physics, attempting to answer Malika's questions and failing to answer them adequately. He will be taking a gap year to travel the world.
Haley Marie Fritz. Haley would like to thank Mom and Dad for all the love, money, and support. Nick for making her drive everywhere. Rye for keeping her sane most of the time. Her friends for dealing with her for this long. And finally, all the teachers who made her time at MHS worthwhile, especially Miss G, Mr. Waldron, Mr. Orzek, and Miss Bradley. She will miss the opportunities that living in a small town has given her, from close-knit classes to being able to work so closely with our town's government on my Girl Scout Gold Award project. Haley is the recipient of the Fraser Forgy, Brenda Bowker Flaherty, Halfway Cafe, Community Service, and Duclos, and the American Red Cross Service scholarships. She is attending Boston University in the fall.
Thomas Murray Geiger. Thomas would like to thank his friends and family, Mrs. Durando, Mr. Devine, and Mr. Grandin. He will miss AP Physics. Thomas is the recipient of the Fraser and Forgy Memorial, class of 1970, and the John Walsh Memorial Booster Scholarship. He is attending SUNY Albany in the fall.
John McDonald G. Lorenzo. John would like to thank his family. John is the recipient of the Guy Fowler and Irving Davis Memorial Scholarships. He is attending the University of Massachusetts in Lowell in the fall.
Samantha Liz Day Santana. Samantha would like to thank Miss Bradley, Miss Lerner, Miss LeBlanc for the great advice and incentives along the years and for all that they have done for her. Also, Mr. Devine for being an incredible counselor. She would also like to thank MHS for welcoming her and changing her life. She will miss her teachers and Mr. Devine. Samantha will be taking a gap year and attending Mount Ida in 2017. John Weston Gifford. John would like to thank his grandparents, parents, brother, Mr. Menasian, Mr. Grandin, Mr. Luther, Mr. Orzik, Miss Durando, Miss LaBelle, and the boys, and everyone else who has helped him along the way. He will miss hanging in WAVM after school, TTT, gathering around the hearth, the telethon, and band volleyball. John is the recipient of the Ann Duclos Halfway Cafe Community Service and the Erin Bradley Excellence in Teaching Award for Suburban Achievers Scholarships. He will be attending Fitchburg State University in the fall.
Philip Piot Gubala. Philip would like to thank Mr. Grandin, Mr. Devine, friends, sisters, and mostly his mother and father. He will miss soccer with the boys, TTT, WAVM hanging, pre-B-balls, Bs, going to Montreal with the soccer seniors, telethon nights, and finally, Archie. Philip is the recipient of the Ann Duclos, Herring Family, and Class of 19 scholarships. He is attending University of Massachusetts Amherst this fall.
Isabel Rose Hathaway. Isabel would like to thank her parents, sisters, and teachers, especially Miss Bradley for making learning fun, Mr. Grandin for inspiring her to learn, and Miss LaBelle for everything. She would also like to thank Obama. She will miss Tuesday afternoon mock trial, arguing with Sierra over foreign policy and American food. Izzy is the recipient of the Fraser and Forgy and the George B. Glad scholarships. She will be attending Queen's University in Ontario next fall.
Alexia Gonsalves Hippolito. Alexia would like to thank God for everything. Her family for making all of this possible. Her aunt, uncle, and cousin for making life more colorful. And Denny, who came to make her life happier. I am glad and thankful for the great teachers I have had throughout the years. She will miss all of her Brazilian friends, and of course, she won't forget about Luther's class. She also is thankful for the ELL program. It was great having Miss Bradley as a teacher. Alexia is the recipient of the Catherine Mary Kinsley and George B. Glad scholarships. She will be attending Middlesex Community College next fall.
Erica Rose House. Erica would like to thank her family and all of her friends for their support and encouragement. She will miss being able to see her friends every day and Christina Potenza. Erica is the recipient of the Fraser and Forgy Memorial, the Maynard Elks, and the Maynard Emblem Club number 205 in memory of Doris Coakley scholarships. She is attending Clark University in the fall.
Cal Richard House. Cal would like to thank his family for always supporting him and leading him in the right direction, his friends for all the good times, all his coaches for their sacrifices and the lessons they taught him, and most importantly, he would like to thank Miss Muse for everything she has done and for always supporting him. He will miss the school lip sync, March Madness, Skip Day, freshman year Spanish with Booker T, junior year history class with Mr. Paterno, and all the teachers who have supported him at MHS. Cal is the recipient of the Maynard Elks, MHS Athletic Hall of Fame, Boys and Girls Club of Assabet Valley, Maynard Youth Football, Pittman Family Scholarship in honor of Michael Gary Pittman, Friends of Maynard Football, 5 Wood Scholarship in honor of Michael Lesage, and the John Walsh Memorial Booster Club Scholarships. He is attending Worcester State University in the fall.
Andrew Paul Jakes. Andrew would like to thank his wonderful friends and family, Mr. Manasian, Mr. Luther, Mr. Grandin, Mr. Orzik, Miss Brennan, Mr. Karajanis, Mrs. Lerner, Tony, Danny, and the rest of the awesome custodial staff, Mr. Paterno, Mr. Waldron, and Donia. He will miss the boys, WAVM, personal finance with Miss Brennan, percussion section, breakfast club, and the Friday squad, the DPC 72 hours, band volleyball, and pre-ball Bs. Andrew is the recipient of the Fraser and Forgy, and Duclos, and the Halfway Cafe Community Service Scholarships. He's attending Emerson College in the fall.
Samuel Allen Jones. Sam would like to thank his parents, teachers, and friends. He will miss WAVM, mock trial, the music program, and a cappella. Samuel is attending University of Massachusetts Amherst in the fall.
Stephen Ernest Jones. Stephen would like to thank Mr. Malika, Mr. Luther, Mr. Paterno, Miss Brennan, his sisters, and his mom and dad. He will miss soccer with the boys, Aztec puck, weekends with the boys, and arguments with Steve and Jared at lunch over the dumbest things. Stephen is the recipient of the Maynard Education Association scholarship. He will be attending Bryant University in the fall.
Jake Andrew Kennedy. Jake would like to thank his mom and dad. Jake is the recipient of the Maynard Youth Football and the Friends of Maynard Football scholarships. He is attending Springfield College in the fall.
Christian Alexander Corpy. Christian would like to thank Mr. Flynn, Mr. Devine, his family, and everyone else who has helped him. Christian is the recipient of the Guy Fowler, the Ladies of Kaliva Scholarship, and the Erin Bradley Excellence in Teaching Award for Suburban Achievers. He will be attending Mass College of Art and Design in the fall.
Melissa Alana Crayley. Melissa would like to thank her family. She will enter the workforce, but will take a couple of classes at Middlesex Community College in the fall.
Kevin Michael Crayley. Kevin would like to thank his mom and his teacher squad. He will miss soccer, Paliki's room, those long talks, and being around his friends. Kevin is the recipient of the George B. Glad Scholarship. He will be attending Mitchell College in the fall.
Joseph Michael Kotlowski. Joseph would like to thank his family. He will be attending Framingham State University in the fall.
Paul Peter Lally. Paul would like to thank his family, both here and not here. He will miss walking the halls around MHS in his trademark hat. Paul will be attending the Community Connections program next fall.
Maximilian Michael Lamenza Naylor. Michael would like to thank Ms. Cairns, Ms. Brennan, Mr. Paterno, Ms. LeBlanc, Mr. Manasian, Ms. Blanchard, Mr. Radler, Mr. Orzek, Doug Luther, Matt Gardner, Chris Cates, and mostly his loving mother, father, supportive brother, and motivational grandmother. He will miss the boys, B-Ball Bees, MMC, the Clonkathon, the Protrusive Goose, Chris Cates, Big Munson, WAVM church services, 72 hours, flipping burgers with Phil and Chorus, cacti, and most of all, being a people pleaser. Max is the recipient of the Clamola Glad and Halfway Cafe Community Service Scholarships. He is attending the University of Massachusetts in Boston in the fall.
Sophie Lee. Sophie would like to thank Miss Brennan, Miss LaBelle, Miss Lind, Miss Blanchard, Miss Muse, Mr. Flynn, Mr. Luther, Mr. Devine, and Mr. Caruso. She'd also like to thank her host family for having her this year and her parents for giving her the chance to be here. She will miss Maynard and everything that she has learned here. Sophie will be attending Lesley University in the fall.
Kevin Lorth. Kevin would like to thank Spotify, SparkNotes, Google, friends and family, and of course the Academy. I should have proofread. He will miss back-to-back free periods in the library. Kevin is the recipient of the Maynard Business Alliance, Guy Fowler, and the Halfway Cafe Community Service Scholarships. He is attending Bentley University in the fall.
Henry Christopher Lucier. Henry would like to thank all of his teachers who helped him, his parents, Ethan, Mr. Orzik for putting up with him, Mr. Devine, Tony and all the custodians, Maria and the lunch ladies, and most of all, Coach P. He will miss hanging with the boys, chilling in the lib, peak days, roof hangs, and total procrastination for any project that could be done last minute. Henry is the recipient of the Anne Marie Morton, Sayowitz, and George B. Glad scholarships. He will be attending Middlesex Community College in the fall.
Jessica Ann Mackesy. Jessica would like to thank her family, friends, and teachers. She will miss writing club, stats with Miss Brennan, madrigals, and her friends. Jessica is the recipient of the Clamola Glad and Halfway Cafe Community Service Scholarships. She's attending Salem State University in the fall.
Andre Joseph Maganaro. Andre would like to thank Mr. Paliki, Mr. Flynn, Mrs. McLean, and Mr. Paterno for giving him good advice. He will miss Best Buddies and WAVM. Andre will be attending the Community Connections program in the fall.
J. Nicholas Mannion. Jay would like to thank Mrs. McLean, Mr. Paliki, Mrs. Maida, Mr. Caruso, Mr. Orzek, Mrs. Reed, Miss Brennan, Miss Blanchard, Mr. Radler, Mr. Manasian, the custodians, Miss Muse, Mr. Paterno, Mr. Grandin, Miss Dowd, Mrs. Durando, my parents, sister, and everyone who helped make this year a blast for me. He will miss Miss Brennan's class, radio shows, doing the telethon, Mr. Grandin's class freshman year, organizing the Dave Hurley Memorial Benefit Concert, hanging with Tony and Danny, Mr. Manasian singing and learning to play guitar, prom, senior prank, talking with Mr. Radler about bands and guitars, and everything in band. Jay is the recipient of the Ann Duclos, Melissa Saulnier Memorial, Franklin J. Boblak Memorial, and Halfway Cafe Community Service Scholarships. He will be attending Middlesex Community College in the fall.
Brianna Sadia McCadden. Brianna would like to thank Mrs. Maida, Mrs. McLean, her family, and friends. She will be attending Community Connections program in the fall.
Augustine David Meza. Augustine would like to thank his family, friends, Dougie Fresh, and all the people that let him cut them in the lunch line. He will miss Paterno's class and movies with Donia. Augustine is attending Mass Bay Community College in the fall.
Patrick Creedon Murphy. Patrick would like to thank Miss Muse, Mr. Karajanis, Miss G, his mom, and Mr. Luther. He will miss Miss Muse and Mr. Luther. Patrick will be taking a gap year and traveling to Colorado.
Joyce Pereira Nunez. Joyce would like to thank her parents, sisters, Natan, and her cat, Jovi. She will miss the Brazilian squad, Maria the lunch lady, and Paterno's conversation about his child. Joyce is the recipient of the Clamola and George B. Glad scholarships. She is attending Quinsigamon Community College in the fall.
Brittany Lee O'Neill. Brittany would like to thank her teachers, her parents, Pat, Matt, the Gale Pals, and the whole squad for making the best of high school. She will miss the girls whose friendship never wavered and the guys who never failed to make her laugh. Brittany is the recipient of the Maynard Police Department, Halfway Cafe Community Service, 5 Wood Scholarship in honor of Michael Lesage, and the John Walsh Memorial Booster Scholarships. She's attending UMass Lowell in the fall.
Stephen Matthew Peterson. Stephen would like to thank the boys, Mr. Grandin, Mr. Malika, and his family. He will miss Friday nights with the boys in the engineering squad. Stephen is the recipient of the Guy Fowler, Maynard Youth Football, Friends of Maynard Football, and the Halfway Cafe Community Service Scholarships. He is attending Worcester Polytechnic Institute this fall.
Mackenzie Rose Poe. Mackenzie would like to thank her mom and dad for everything they've ever done, and her sisters and Jamie for being her best friends. Mackenzie is the recipient of the Clamoa Glad and George B. Glad scholarships. She is attending Worcester State University in the fall.
Christina Elizabeth Potenza. Christina would like to thank her friends and family for encouraging her and the teachers who have helped her along the way. She will miss seeing her friends every day, especially Erica House. Christina is the recipient of the Fraser Forgy Memorial, George B. Glad, and the Erin Bradley Excellence in Teaching Award for Suburban Achievers scholarships. She is attending University of Pittsburgh in the fall.
Isabella Catherine Proyer. Isabella would like to thank her parents and sisters for their endless love and support, her friends that have helped her survive these past 4 years, and all of the teachers, especially Mr. C. and Mr. Paterno, for inspiring her to become a teacher. She will miss the friends and the memories she has made here. Izzy is the recipient of the Arthur St. Germain Memorial Scholarship. She will be attending Southern New Hampshire University in the fall.
Kelsey Ann Quintal. Kelsey would like to thank Miss Muse, her parents, and her sister. She will miss her days with Mackenzie Poe. Kelsey is the recipient of the Thomas and Athena Gramo and George B. Glad scholarships. She is attending Empire Beauty School in the fall.
Julia Nicole Sabo. Julia would like to thank her friends and family. She is the recipient of the Rafferty Scholarship and the George and Ann Lemire Scholarship. She will be attending Manchester Community College in the fall.
George Thomas Shaw. George would like to thank Mr. Luther, Mr. C., and his parents. He will be entering the workforce after graduation.
Benjamin Whitcomb Shepard. Benjamin would like to thank Mr. Grandin and Miss LeBlanc for being the teachers of his most successful and enjoyable classes. He will miss antics and AP Physics. Benjamin will be attending Delaware Valley University in the fall.
Shannon May Smith. Shannon would like to thank her parents, brothers and sisters, and Paul. She will miss trips to soccer with the Car Fam and team dinners. Shannon is the recipient of the Maynard Elks Club, MHS Athletic Hall of Fame, Boys and Girls Club of Assabet Valley, the Lawrence Veneria Memorial, and John Walsh Memorial Booster Club scholarships. She's attending Clemson University this fall.
Brian Philip Sullivan. Brian would like to thank his parents and best friends for shaping him into the person he has become. He will miss seeing everyone every day and all the memories he has made. Brian will be attending Arizona State University in the fall.
Zachary Charles Sulzer. Zachary would like to thank his mom, dad, brothers, the boys, Mr. Manasian, Mr. Luther, Mrs. Gerando, Mr. Orzek, and Mr. Grandin. He will miss WAVM, hanging with the crew, 3 a.m. telethon card games. Zachary is the recipient of the Fraser Forgy Memorial and the George B. Glad scholarships. He is attending Suffolk University in the fall.
Carly Teska. Carly would like to thank her parents for always supporting her, her teachers for always encouraging her, especially Miss LeBlanc, Miss Lerner, Miss LaBelle, and Miss Muse for all of her help this year, and her best friends Helen and Liza. Carly is the recipient of the Fraser Forgy Memorial, George B. Glad, and George B. Glad scholarships. She will miss her family and friends. Carly is attending Montana State University.
Emily Catherine Thayer. Emily would like to thank her teachers, her parents, both Owens, the squad, and G, Hel, and Britt for the many years of friendship and many more to come. She will miss the girls who have become her sisters, whether it was in second grade or senior year. Emily is the recipient of the Middlesex West Chamber of Commerce and the Halfway Cafe Community Service Scholarships. She is attending Worcester Polytechnic Institute this fall.
Roy Tuau. Roy would like to thank Ms. Cairns, Ms. Brennan, Mr. Manasian, Mr. Orzik, Mr. Luther, Mr. Devine, and the Kotlowski family. He will miss soccer season, WAVM Good Times, and the squad over here. Roy will be attending Bellevue College in the fall.
Breton Grant Usher. Brett would like to thank Mrs. Rossell, Mr. Rondo, and Mr. Luther, Stu, his good friends, and most of all, his mom, dad, and sister for always being there for him. Tearing up the golf course with Sully and Josh, playing baseball with the junior goons, hanging out with the boys, and most of all, always wondering whether or not our class president, Jack, was going to make it to school or go for a senior skip year. Brett is the recipient of the Guy Fowler, George B. Glad, and Maynard Auto Club scholarships. He is attending the University of New Hampshire in the fall.
Simon Sorensen Westgard. Simon would like to thank everyone who welcomed him here at the start of the school year. He will miss all of the friends he's made here at WAVM, discovering tempostorm.com and knowing that 18 plus 4 does not equal 21. Simon will be returning to Norway to complete high school.
Grace Ellery Wilson. The wonderful teachers at MHS, especially Maggie Jones, Ms. Cairns, Mrs. Durando, Ms. Bradley, and Mrs. Lerner for their support and dedication to me and to education in general. Ms. Muse for her constant support, giving me chocolate on stressful days, and for being an amazing human. The custodians and Louie for all their hard work, and all of my friends and family for helping me to get to where I am now. Anyone who helped me with my decision to finish high school in 3 years. My fantastic sisters, Lily and Georgia. And finally, my parents for always being there for me and for supporting me every step it's taken for me to get here today. She will miss all the fun times in band, and especially the people that make every one of those moments so special. Grace is the recipient of the Fraser Forgy Memorial, Maynard Music Association, and Duclos, and the American Red Cross Service Scholarships. She is attending Simmons College in the fall.
And last but not least, Michael Richardson Yates. Michael would like to thank Mr. Orzik, Mr. Radler, Mr. Patorno, Mr. Waldron, Douglas Luther, Mr. Manasian, Mr. Crusoe, Miss G, Miss Muse, and Mr. Cotter. He will miss the I don't even know how to say that, a goose, the Clonkathong, MMC, DBC, Trivia, the Button Factory,
Protrusive goose.
Thank you. And most of all, the Old Maynard High School.
And I'd like to thank Donia.
Michael is the recipient of the George B. Glad and the Halfway Cafe Community Service Scholarships. He's attending Framingham State University in the fall.
Thank you all. Superintendent Girardi, School Committee Vice Chair Hem, members of the School Committee, members of the Board of Selectmen, and all assembled dignitaries and guests. Let me begin by thanking the Maynard High School Band, WAVM, our custodial staff, secretarial staff, dedicated faculty, class advisors Renee Muse and Lisa McLean, our generous scholarship donors, the parents, families, and friends of our graduating seniors, and the seniors themselves for joining together here tonight and for all the hard work and dedication they've put into making this evening's graduation ceremony possible. I'd like to begin these formal remarks by thanking Jack O'Mani for giving Mr. Caruso the hug he needed on Thursday night's senior awards ceremony. That was one less thing I had to do Friday morning. This is the last time that the seniors assembled here will be gathered as students of Maynard High School. In but a few minutes, they will become graduates of Maynard High School and will join the ever-growing ranks of our honorable alumni. Their paths ahead will diverge and be many, but the common roots they've put down together at Maynard High School will bind them together for all time. The class of 2016 will be the last class that has a clear recollection of the old Maynard High School, having attended classes there as freshmen. For all of us who lived through that transition, I think there are a few points that we'll be in agreement on. First and most obviously, the new building is, to use the local New England vernacular, wicked awesome. Moving from the old building to the new building was like trading in the beloved but battered 1964 Volkswagen VW Bug for a 2013 fully equipped Cadillac. Though to the taxpayers, I would point out that this Cadillac was purchased at a remarkably discounted and prudent price, comparable to lesser vehicles bought at the same dollar value. Second, all would agree, let's not do that again. The transition from one building to another over a single summer was challenging, an all-hands-on-deck experience. Students and staff alike poured energy into making that move work. I'd like to once again thank the staff and the members of the class of 2016 for making that change possible. Thank you. Third, and perhaps most importantly, we did it, and we did it well. We managed the change even if it wasn't always perfect. We made the transition even if it wasn't always seamless, and we continued to do our work, the work of education, even when there were points of stress and challenge. And in many ways, that move 3 years ago is an appropriate metaphor for graduation today. Everyone knows going to school and graduating from high school is about learning. Some may think learning means increased knowledge and skills in the areas of math, English, history, science, foreign languages, or the arts. But the educational process in high school graduation is about much more than that. It's also about learning how to get through a day when you're feeling a little bit off physically without calling in sick. It's about managing a day and doing your job as a student even if after you've had a falling out with a friend. It's about taking an unexpected or even unfair setback and then somehow working around and through it. It's about managing a week when you have a heavy academic load, your team is practicing daily, and there are demands at home, and then finding the perseverance, organization, and grit to make it through, because you know it'll be worth it in the end, and it'll help you reach your goals and a better place. The class of 2016 assembled here this afternoon not only managed the difficult transition from the old building to the new, but they also navigated the personal and emotional challenges a high school education and experiences bring. The class of 2016 is truly distinguished. They have achieved at the highest level academically. They've broken school records as athletes, won awards and praise as artists and musicians, welcomed students from around the world to join them at MHS, and been an incredibly active class in terms of community service. The class of 2016 has achieved all of this while learning how to persevere both physically and mentally. I'd like to close with a few thoughts for each graduate. Some may call it advice. You've demonstrated throughout your 4 years at Maynard High School that you can embrace change, tackle challenges, and press on through adversity. Life beyond high school will require you to do the same. So set your goals high, find a passion, pursue it, see it through, and I say you can do it. I say that not to make you and your families feel good, but because you have actually already proven you can. Congratulations to the distinguished class of 2016. Well done. With today's graduation, we inaugurate what is sure to become a new tradition at Maynard High School. As part of his senior project around special effects and costume design, graduating student Justin Duggan handcrafted a ceremonial torch of leadership as the 2016 class gift. Would senior class president Jack O'Mani and junior class president Michaela Barbagallo please come forward? I invite Jack to now pass the torch to Michaela. With the passing of this torch, the class of 2017 now assumes the role of student leadership at Maynard High School. May the class of 2017 reach or exceed the very high bar set by the class of 2016. Would the students for the tassel ceremony please come forward and kindly wait for my signal? I have but one task left this evening. As the principal of Maynard High School, and upon the recommendation of the faculty, I hereby certify to the Maynard School Committee, Superintendent Girardi, and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education that each member of the Maynard High School graduating class of 2016 has fulfilled all local and state standards required for high school matriculation. At this time, I declare that each senior assembled here is a graduate of Maynard High School with all the rights, honors, and privileges pertaining thereto. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the class of 2016.